Hi. Hi, Kay. Hi, Carrie. Hello, hello. Hi, Kiki. All right, so I did if I'm I don't even know what I'm saying today. If you looked at my stories about like an hour ago or so, I put down what we were gonna paint today. So I changed the format a little after like 2 weeks of like deliberation. Hi, Mama. Because I found that I was not really producing like really good paintings when I had them scheduled in advance because I don't really work that way. I don't normally paint that way. I usually sit down to paint when I get like some inspiration or if I have like a vision in my head. And then if I paint something that I'm not really ready to paint, it comes out really bad to my standards. So I didn't really like what I was like, how my finished paintings looked at the end of all of our previous Vanessa Paints With Me sessions. So after like really thinking about it, I figured out why that was, which is the reason I just told you. So I didn't know. I'm not gonna know in advance what we're gonna paint, but I should know at least like an hour beforehand. Sometimes I might just wing it. But so that's why I kind of changed the format a little, and I hope you guys don't mind. But I will obviously keep the story up for 24 hours, and I'll also put it in my YouTube channel if you wanted to paint what we painted at a later date. um, so yeah, so that's why I changed the format a little. I just wasn't really happy with what I was painting, and then after I would look at the pieces, I'd be like, "Ugh, this is so ugly." And I'm sure you guys have all been there at one time or another where you just weren't happy with it. But it was like week after week with me, so I needed to switch it up a little. So we're still gonna have them every week. I'm just not gonna know like really far in advance what it is we're going to paint. Sometimes I may know, because sometimes I have like something in my head that I want to paint and I just like wait for it. So I did a little sketch of what I showed you before. So I have a little sketching journal here. And this is what I sketched out earlier today. And so I kind of recreated it here. I mean, it's not the best because I'm not really the best at sketching or drawing. So I'm just lightening up the lines just a little bit, although it doesn't really matter if you are painting along or if you have sketched something. It doesn't matter if the lines are dark or not because the paint that we're using is dark enough that it'll cover those lines. And of course, I'm going to make mistakes anyway, so whatever. Let me grab some brushes. So, how is everybody today? Is anyone painting along or is everyone just gonna do it at a later time? Which I totally get, if you will, because um, this was not pre-planned. So I should have grabbed my brushes earlier, but of course I didn't. So you're gonna listen to a bunch of brush scratching. Oh, you're painting too, Carrie! Yay! I'll have one person painting with me. Where are all my brushes? Why can't I find any of them? One second. So I changed my brushes. I upgraded, I should say, my brushes. So those of you who have followed me for a while know that I recommend these Princeton Select brushes. I love, love, love them. But I felt like it was time for me to upgrade them a little. I've been painting with them for like a year and a half, and I've replaced them twice because sometimes the wood cracks on them like this. And I got tired of that. They're still really great brushes. So I upgraded to the Princeton Heritage. And they're Princeton Heritage 4050 series. And they do perform a little differently than the other brushes do, than the Princeton Select. So it takes a little bit of getting used to. But I'm really enjoying them. Although I can't find any of them right now. I don't know what I've done with my brushes. All right. So So that is my sketch. And let me just grab another brush since I can't find these brushes. And if you have any questions while we are painting, feel free to ask. Oh, I said that I was going to answer some questions. So while I'm getting ready, I'll put one up. This one is from Sarah's Handy Mandy. What types of colors are best for watercoloring and lettering? And that, for me, that's like a personal preference. I don't really letter, so I have a ton of friends here who do letter, so they can give you some options. I know some people use liquid watercolors, and I have never used those. But really, any type of watercolors, any type of colors are good. I tend to go towards the blues, but I've been trying to branch out lately. Where are all my brushes? Did Sprout take them? I've been trying to branch out lately to use different colors than what I am used to using. So you may have noticed that my feed looks a little different than it usually does. And that's because I've been branching out. So that's that. Yes, Kay, I saw a couple of them, a couple of you. I want to just show you this one. If any of you know my daughter Tati, you know that she always puts in the craziest questions. So there is her questions. Do you ever take a step back and think, holy crow, I have some cool daughters? Yeah, that's my kid for you. Okay. So I put a poll up and I asked if you guys wanted me to paint with indigo or Antwerp, and the majority of you picked Antwerp. So I just put Antwerp in this little tiny pan. Yeah, Kiki, you know that she always has to answer something. So I put my little Antwerp here. So we're only going to paint this entire piece with one color. And the way we're going to paint it is using different values. For those of you who don't really know what that is, it's just sort of like watering down your paint in order to lighten it, or saturating your brush with that paint in order to darken it. So that's what we're going to be doing. And to begin with, I think we are going to start with the actual moon. So the first thing we're going to do, and since I don't know where in the world my brushes have run off to, I'm going to go back to my Princeton Select. So the first thing we're going to do is to wet the inside of the moon, fairy and all, with some water. And I am using some, I'll tell you what kind of paper I'm using. I'm using the Legion Stonehenge, which has become like, oh, thank you, Carrie. This is a great paper. Like I purchased like 4 pads of it already. I'm really loving it. And it is a pad, but it's not glued down on all 4 sides. It's only glued down on 2 sides. So I stuck a napkin in on these sides because I don't want the color, because we're going to go to the edge of the paper, and I don't want the color to leak onto any of the other pages. Oh, and I'm sorry if I'm missing your questions. Usually I try to answer all the questions, but if I miss your question and you asked one and I don't answer it, you can just ask again and I will try to catch it. How does it compare to arches? They're really different. They're both very, very different. So arches will always be my favorite. It will always be my number one. But all of the paintings that you've seen me do lately, like all of the flower pieces that I've been doing and the rainbow and the sunflower, all of that has been on this paper. So it's really good. I really, really like it. It has a different texture than Arches does. Arches feels a little rougher than this one does. And but I really like it. It holds a lot of water. I would say that it has taken the place of, don't tell anyone this, my Fluid 100 paper, because you all know how much I love the Fluid 100. But I can basically paint anything on this. On Arches, I can't really paint galaxies for some reason. It just doesn't look right. But with this paper, I can. So I can paint basically everything. And the colors stay vibrant and bright. It dries really nicely. And yeah, I really like it. I know, Kiki, right? Can you believe I said that? I'm not repeating myself. You will never hear that out of my mouth again. It's a good thing I'm putting this on YouTube. All right, so I'm gonna start this one. I'm gonna leave like a soft halo on the outside of the moon. So I'm gonna start this one with full saturation of Antwerp on the inside of the moon. And I won't go around to every single edge, but for the most part. Taking some paint off my brush and we just dab it in. If you want to learn a little bit more about the techniques that I use for my moonscape paintings, I have a Skillshare class on that. Plug. So just go ahead and paint the moon as you normally would. Don't even worry about your design on the inside, because hopefully it'll still show through, and then we're gonna make that one really, really dark. So my paper is drying a little. I'm trying to move this up so you can see it. All right. I think for the edges, I may switch to a smaller brush. I have a really shaky hand, and the big brush is not conducive to that. All right. So I'm not going to make it really deeply saturated around the entire circle, but I am adding more color to the entire circle than I would to the, going around the entire circle than I would normally. And as you can tell, this paper dries a little faster than the Arches paper, because you can tell that it's already, parts of it are already drying. But that's okay.
It's okay, it's okay.
That's Maggie in the background. I don't mind it. Oh, I already stuck my hands in it. But, I don't mind it. And if you stick your palm in it, just like I did over here, again, that's not a problem because we're painting the outside of it blue as well. And for those of you who just joined, I am using Antwerp from the Sprout Creative line. Switch back to a smaller brush here. So again, if any of you have any questions or anything, feel free to ask. All right, while I'm doing this, I'm going to put up another question that someone else had. Let's see. Oh, whoops. I like this one the most. This is from Carrie. Carrie gets extra points. And then Kay had a similar one. So let's see Kay's question. Yeah. You guys know how to butter a girl up. I mean, I don't even know how to answer that. All right. And my moons aren't always perfectly round, even though I use like a circle maker, because I don't know. Even with that extra help, I can't fully stay in the lines. So, yeah. So if your paper dries, you can do what I just did and put like a dot of paint in your moon and then spread it around by adding a bit of water to the outside of it. There's ways to get over all of it. And Antwerp is a staining color, so as you can see, it doesn't lift up very easily. So once it's down, it's down. So if you want to leave some white space, you can see here I'm trying to lift it and it doesn't lift up. So if you want to leave some white space, try to do that beforehand. You're going to have to like make an effort to leave the white of the paper. All right. So I'm gonna let this dry for a bit. I think I may add a little bit of color on the other side here. Let's do it behind the wing. And then we're gonna let that dry. But while that's drying, we will work on the outside. My paper towel is coming out from the inside of the book here, so of the pad. So let me throw that back in there because we are going to be working now on the edges and I don't want the rest of my paper to get blue all over it. Hello. Get in there. Okay. All right. So while the inside is drying, and this one dries pretty quickly. Actually, I think I might, no, you know what? I'll just leave it. I was going to run a hairdryer through it, but we'll just leave it. If it leaks, it leaks. It's okay. We're using the same exact color no matter what. All right. So I'm not going to use the wet on wet technique for this. Well, I'm going to kind of use like a mixture of both. So I'm going to start by adding a lot of Antwerp around the edges and then adding water to blend it in, and letting it get lighter as it gets closer to the moon. So that's how we're going to work around the entire piece. Hello, Eliza. I hope that's how you pronounce your name. All right, so we're gonna start up here and add a ton of blue Antwerp. And then clean your brush off and just let it run in. And we're gonna do that all the way around. All right, and we're gonna come down here, move the paper down a little, the paper towel, and add a ton. Let me bring my Antwerp up here so you can see I am adding a lot of it. And then pulling it down with some water. And we're gonna do about 2 layers of this technique. So if it's not even, don't even worry about it. And we're going to keep going around the paper, doing the same thing. And since this paper dries a little faster than other paper, well, the only other paper I ever use is really Arches. Since this dries a little faster, you're going to have to just work in sections. But since this is the first layer, that's okay. It's not like a huge deal. Usually with cotton paper, once that initial first layer dries and you add a second layer, it takes a little longer to dry because the water gets soaked into the fibers of the cotton. So that's nice. All right, so we're gonna keep going around. And the first layer doesn't always look the prettiest, but I promise you it will. Gotta be a little bit careful around the moon. Okay, whoops. And back to the blue. I originally was gonna go with Antwerp, and then I remembered how much I love indigo, so I was like, oh man, I don't know which one to pick, so that's why I put the poll out. But you guys went with my original thought. This is hard to do upside down. Okay, let's turn the page. Hi, Danielle. All right. Going around. Gracias, Elisa. And saturate those edges. Ooh, Neptune. I want to see how it looks, Carrie, with the Neptune. Neptune is another deep color. And only people who subscribe to my March box got it. All right, let's see. We're going to keep going around and around and around. Thank you, Lisa. And again, first layer doesn't always look pretty, and that's okay. It'll get prettier once we hit that second layer. Hopefully, right? That's our aim. Yeah, I really like the granulation on Neptune. But you want to know something? I didn't make myself a Neptune. I was so upset. I was like, oh, and I don't want to make just one tiny batch of it. So when I release it for next year, I will grab myself one. I always forget to make myself my colors. So I don't have all of my colors. Hi, new follower. I have been painting since September, October of 2017. So not very long. Not very long at all. All right, so now we're going to go... Hi, Rio. Now we're going to go in with the second layer. All right, so we're adding the second... If it's still wet, not a problem. You all know how much I love adding wet layers on wet layers. So that's usually how I work. So we're going to bring it in just a little bit more this time around. because I don't want a really, I don't want a lot of white space. So we're bringing it in just a little bit more. And we're leaving a little thin layer, or a little thin like glow around the moon. There we go. Oh, Rio, you're so sweet. Do you paint every day, and how did you learn? I used to paint every day. I don't do it as often now. So when I first started watercoloring, I told myself that really the only way that you're going to get better is by practicing. So I told myself that I was going to practice every day. I didn't give myself a set amount of days. I didn't say, oh, for the next so and so days, I'm going to practice every day. But it turned out to be that I painted every single day for 6 months. And that is really the only way that I improved, was by painting every day. And I did everything. I mean, I tried florals, I tried landscapes. The majority of the things that I did were galaxies. And painting galaxies is what really helped me understand like color and color values and mixing colors. That is what kind of like helped me in my journey, was painting the galaxies. So this paint is from my handmade watercolors from the Sprout Creative, and it is called Antwerp. And this is one of the deepest blues that I have. And yeah, it's from a pan. I don't make tube paints. ¿En qué te inspiraste para hacerlo? So Eliza wanted to know what inspires me to paint. And Eliza, ¿usted entiende inglés? So, really, it's anything and everything around me. I will see, like a picture, or someone's painting, and I mean, really everything, that is around me, I take inspiration from. I take a lot of inspiration from a lot of my fellow Instagram artists. They make some like amazing things, and seeing their creations is what kind of inspires me to keep pushing through and keep trying new things. I know a lot of people ask, like, what is your style, or how did you find your like particular style? And I think that I don't really have one, and I don't know that I really want one, because I really like to learn new things. And once I kind of not mastered it, because there's like no mastering of it, but once I kind of get like the hang of something, I'm like, okay, I'm good. I want to try something else now. So that's kind of like the way that I've always worked. I love learning and educating myself, and all of that. So yeah, I just kind of, once I find something that I want to learn, I just practice it a lot. And you can see that in my feed. I mean, if you go through my feed, you'll see so many different things that I have painted. And then, one day I was just like, I really want to learn how to paint florals. And then that's what I've been painting, is florals, all different kinds of painting, all different kinds of florals. And right now I'm really into like a mix of like abstract with realism, and I'm really like enjoying that. So, I always say, don't be in a rush to find your style. The fun is in the learning. Yeah, Rio, see? Rio's with me. She gets it. My mom wanted me to tell you all that my artistic talent comes from my family. And it's true. My mom says that she's not really an artist, but she really is. I remember one summer, I went to the Dominican Republic with my brother on vacation. And when I came back, my mother had painted a huge mural on our bedroom wall of like our family tree. And I honestly, I don't know if she remembers that, but I will never forget it. My mom has always been very artistic. All right. What type of paper am I using? I showed it. Oh, I can take this out of here now. I am using Legion Stonehenge. Oh, it's backwards, but that's what it is. All right. So if you can see here that um, the second layer looks so much better than the first, doesn't it? And that's because the paper has absorbed a lot of that water, and you know what? I think I want to make this piece darker over here. So the paper has absorbed a lot of the water, so the second layer will stay wet longer than the first. And that is kind of true for arches as well. Although the drying time with the first layer of arches is not as quick as this one, but it does stay wet longer after the second layer. I paint lots of skies and florals with watercolors. I'm just making a mess. Yeah. Yeah, see, I love that. I love just like, and in like a couple of weeks I may get bored with florals and I'm like, let me try something new. But right now I'm really enjoying the florals. So, okay, so I just darkened that up a bit, and I am going to take a hair dryer to this because when I paint, my hands are like all over this, so I don't want to mess it up. So bear with me one second. And again, if I miss any of your questions, feel free to repeat them. Oh, hey, I found my brush on the floor. Um, I don't know how to say your name, Amina Luna. The reason why I work, honestly, the reason why I work my layers wet while they're still wet is because I don't like them. I can't wait for them to dry. So I work layer upon layer upon layer while all of my paints are still wet. The only time I will let it dry is if I want to add another color on top and I don't want them to mix. Thank you. Okay, so I don't really like the way this looks. So after I'm done with the fairy, I might go in with another layer to kind of smooth that out. Are you self-taught or did you take classes? I didn't take like formal, like, in-person classes. I took a ton of Skillshare classes. So when I first started painting, I signed up for Skillshare immediately, and because I learned about it here on Instagram. I don't know who I learned about it from, but so there are so many teachers. But I did start taking classes on Skillshare, and one of my favorite classes that taught me the most was the beginner class by Ana Victoriana. I don't know, or Ana Victoria Calderon. She's Ana Victoriana here on Instagram, and she has amazing classes geared. There are like two that are geared towards beginners, and she taking that class really taught me a lot about mixing colors and values and strokes and wet on wet and different types of techniques, and then the rest I just learned as I went. Lots of trial and error. All right, so we're gonna try this fairy. Oh geez, every time I go to paint a silhouette, I'm like, oh my god, I hope it turns out okay. All right, so we're gonna load our brush with paint, and I mean, like, make it as dark as possible. You want your silhouette to be kind of as dark as this edge. So that's what we're gonna do. Let me make sure that it's dry. Okay, it's dry. The paper is not cold. It is not cold, so it is dry. Okay. If you sketched out your fairy beforehand, then hopefully you'll be able to see it. Usually I don't sketch it out, but this fairy was a little bit like weird. So, I sketched it out beforehand, and I usually don't sketch my silhouettes out, but I did for her. So that's why I said if you are going to sketch your moon and your fairy beforehand, make it as dark as you want. You know, most times I always say, make it light so that you don't see the lines, but make it dark because you're not going to see them anyway. You're using unless you're using a light color. But if you're using a really dark color like I am, then make it as dark as you want. Yeah. All right. I'm sorry I blamed Sprout, Courtney. I'm so sorry. Oh, thank you for stopping by. My lives are every Friday. Every Friday at 3. Hopefully, right? Now that the weather has been nice, I'm trying to get out with Sprout a little bit more often and with the girls. So we'll see. But I will try my best to let you know ahead of time if Thursday at 3 or Friday at 3 doesn't work. But it should, because that's Sprout's nap time. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you for stopping by. All right, let's get this fairy painted. Oh gosh, I can't see like her nose or anything. Whoops. Okay. Bye. Thanks for stopping by. Thank you, Elisa. All right, I keep going back in because as I keep going back in to get more paint on my brush, because obviously as you use it, then the color starts getting lighter, and I don't want that. I want the entire silhouette to be as dark as possible. Let's put a little more flow to this skirt. Okay. And then if it lightens, because as watercolor dries, it gets lighter. So if it lightens too much for your taste, you can go back in and add another layer. I would recommend adding another layer after the first one has fully dried. That way it'll get the darkest that it can. Hi, Ariana. My daughter just got home from school. So we're going to pretend that her other arm is like here at her side, because I tried to sketch out her other arm and yeah, it was not the very best sketch in the world. So see, look at this one. Oh my goodness, look at this arm. Rio, I need you to come here and teach me how to draw people. Before I add the other leg, I'm going to let this one dry a little because the other leg is sort of like a little silhouette behind this one. It may not make a difference, but we'll see. We'll just try it. It was not arm day, so she is hiding that little arm. All right, and we have her wand there. And the wand is sparkly, so we're gonna add some lines. Some shaky little lines, because that's how I roll.
Did you say cheeky little lines?
Shaky, not cheeky. I mean,
these sassy little lines.
we could draw some cheeky
Sassy.
little lines. Oh, hi, chicken noodle soup. All right, and then we're gonna draw some stars. Just all around. Thank you. Oh, that star is... I don't know what I did there, but I'm not going to fix it. Every time I try to fix something, I mess it up even more, so we're leaving it that way. Let's have the stars coming out of the moon. All right. All right. Let's try this other leg now. We'll see if it looks any different. If not, it'll look like she has one fat leg. Oh, maybe we can leave a little space in between the legs. And I already messed that thought up. Wait, we're going to try it. All right. Yay, I did a thing there. All right, so what do I want to do here? So what do you think? Should I add some stars, white stars, or not? Or just leave it as is? You can't see the whole thing in frame, can you? No. I'll take the phone off the thing when I'm done. Because I think we are done. But I feel like we're done, but I feel like we're not done. This is me always fussing over everything. Stars S. All right, stars. Kiki says stars. All right, Kiki, I'm going with you on this one. If you oppose the stars, say nay.
Nay.
Nay? Oh, Maggie says nay. I know, I never know when to finish. And I'm like, is it done? Is it not done? I don't know. Stars at the outer edges. All right. The pressure. All right, so we're going to do some stars here in the dark spaces. Kiki, if I ruin this, it's your fault. I'm just kidding.
Wow.
It's all Kiki's fault. All right. Stars at the edges. All right, here we go. I hate this Oops. I hate this tapping technique because everyone makes it look so easy, but I'm like, I can't get the paint out. But it's the most controlled way I have of adding stars. I feel so awkward, like.
How's that go? You're a mess.
I am a mess. Oh, you're right, Kiki. You're right. How could stars ruin it? You never know. Oh my God, the brush almost fell out of my hand. That's how stars could ruin it, when the brush falls out of your hand.
Technically, it's not stars, it's you. You ruin it.
I do the tapping of two brushes together too, Kiki, but it just goes everywhere.
Thanks.
I know. Oh God. Almost there. We're almost there. My finger is getting tired.
Oh my God, so many comments. Oh, killing me.
Oh God. All right, we're tapping. We're tapping.
You are killing me.
Okay. Oh, actually, that's better. All right. Oh my God, if I had dropped that, I would have been like, live is over. No, I'm just kidding. I would have been like, it's okay. We can fix this. You all know me. All right. The stars made it look better. Yay. Let me take my phone off the holder so that you can get a closer look at this. Yay. But now look, there's white all over my desk. That's okay though. Oh, I was going to add another layer, but I decided I didn't want to. I really like the way it came out. It's so cute. Yay. Look at me. I'm like, oh my God, this is fabulous. What? All right. Let me see if I had any other questions up here. Oh, Artogrammer said you're an inspiration. That is so sweet. Thank you so much. I had lots of inspiration when I first started painting, really, but still so much. So that's it. This was fun. See, I enjoyed doing this so much more than a pre-planned painting. So next week we will have I added that. Next week we will have another Vanessa Paints with me at 3. And I will let you know either the day of or the day before. Who knows? I may get some inspiration the day before. I will let you know what we will be painting and what supplies, if any, you will need. The same as I did today. So if you don't have any questions or any concerns or anything, then I will sign off. It was fun. I will put this on YouTube. It'll stay up for 24 hours. For those of you who don't know, I do have a Patreon account, and I am giving out the first coloring page the first week of June, and it's to all tiers. So even the lowest tier, I think it's like $5 a month, everyone gets a coloring page. I am also doing a live tutorial, and it's going to be through the private private YouTube channel. And you'll have the chance to ask questions, and I will have a template provided beforehand, supplies list, and all of that. And that is at the Sprout tier and above over on Patreon. The link is in my bio. And this color was Antwerp, and it is from the Sprout Creative line. And yeah, that's it. If you don't have any other questions, thank you so much for joining me. I had a great time, and this will stay up for 24 hours. Bye.